Welcome to Sports Love Media on YouTube. It's your guy Sports Love broadcasting live today, October 28th, 2025. And in this live stream, we will go over the NFL Week 9 games, my perspective, and those games will take place between October 29th through November 4th of 2025. What I'll do is in this live stream, I'll go over who is playing on what day, other pertinent information, who the pros I think will win the game, and what the over-under is. And then after we do that, then I will go through and make my picks for who I think will win the game and whether or not I believe it'll be over or under. Can y'all hear me out there in YouTube land? Anyway, so in the NFL this week, we have several games that's going to be played. On October 30th, you have Baltimore versus Miami, 7:15 p.m. kickoff. The pros have Baltimore winning that game by 7.5 or 8 points. The over/under is 50.5 or 51. All times that I list in the games will be mentioned in Central Time, so we shall go with that and see how that goes. On November 2nd, you have Chicago versus Cincinnati with a noon kickoff. Chicago is favored to win that game by 2.5 or 3 points. The over-under is 53.5 or 54. Minnesota versus Detroit, noon kickoff. You have Detroit favored to win that game by 9.5 or 10 points. And the over-under is 47.5 or 48. You have next is Carolina versus Green Bay. That's a noon kickoff. Green Bay is favored to win that game by the pros by 12.5 or 13 points, and the over-under is 44.5 or 45. Let's see, you have the Los Angeles Chargers versus Tennessee, noon kickoff. Los Angeles Chargers favored to win that game by 9.5 or 10 points. The over-under is 43.5 or 44. You have next Atlanta versus New England. That's a noon kickoff. New England is favored to win that game by 5.5 or 6 points. The over-under is 45.5. Next, you have San Francisco versus the New York Giants. That's also a noon kickoff. The pros have San Francisco defeating New York Giants by 2.5 or 3 points. The over-under is 48.5 or 49. Next, you have Indianapolis versus Pittsburgh. That's a noon kickoff. Indianapolis is favored to win that game by 3.5 or 4 points. The over-under is 48.5 or 49. Next, you have Denver versus Houston. That's a noon kickoff. You have Denver favored to win that game by 1.5 or 2 points, which actually is almost too close to call. The over-under in that game is 39.5 or 40. You have next is Jacksonville versus Las Vegas. That's a 3:05 p.m. kickoff. Jacksonville is favored to win that game by 3.5 or 4 points. The over-under is 44.5 or 45. Next, you have New Orleans versus the Los Angeles Rams. That's a 3:05 p.m. kickoff. The Los Angeles Rams are favored to win that game 13.5 points to 14 points over New Orleans. The over-under is 44.5 or 45. Next, you have Kansas City versus Buffalo. That's a 3:25 p.m. kickoff. You have Kansas City favored to win that game by 1.5 or 2 points. Again, almost too close to call. The over-under is 51.5 or 52. You have next for the Sunday night football game, which is Seattle versus Washington. That's at 7:20 p.m. Seattle's favored to win that game by 3.5 or 4 points over Washington, and the over-under is 46.5 or 47. Monday Night Football, you have Arizona versus Dallas, 7:15 p.m. Dallas is favored to win that game by 2.5 or 3 points, and the over-under is 54.5. In the NFL this week, the bye week, meaning no games are scheduled, and that'll be for Cleveland, the New York Jets, Philadelphia, and Tampa Bay. So, now that we've gone over who is playing and the pertinent information, let's go over quickly who my picks are going to be. In the Baltimore versus Miami game, I pick Baltimore to win that game, and I'm going over the 51. On the Chicago versus Cincinnati game, I will go Chicago winning that one, and I will go under the 54. You have Minnesota versus Detroit. In that game, I have Detroit winning that game. I don't think they'll win the game by 10 points. I think they'll win the game by 6 points. But I'm still going to pick Detroit winning by 6, and I'm going to have the over on the 48. Carolina versus Green Bay. I favor Green Bay to win that game over Carolina, but I do not agree with the 13-point margin. I think it'll be a 7-point margin for Green Bay beating Carolina, and I believe it'll be over the 45. Let's see. You have the Los Angeles Chargers versus Tennessee. In that game, I do think the Los Angeles Chargers will win that game. The pros say it's a 10-point margin. I think it's going to be a 4-point margin. I disagree with the margin. I agree with who's going to win, but I disagree with the margin. The over-under is 44, and I'm going to go over the 44. Atlanta versus New England. The pros have New England favored to win that. I agree with them on that, and I'm going to go over the 46. Okay, next game you got is San Francisco versus New York Giants. They favor San Francisco to win that game by 3. I agree with that, and I'm going to go over the 49. Indianapolis versus Pittsburgh. They have Indianapolis favored to win that game. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think I'm going to completely disagree with the pros on that one, and I'm going to go Pittsburgh winning that one, and I'm going under the 49. You have Denver versus Houston. Denver is favored to win by 2 points. I agree with that, and I think it's going to be over the 40. Jacksonville versus Las Vegas. I think Jacksonville will win that game over Las Vegas, and I'm going over the 45. New Orleans versus Los Angeles Rams. They have the Rams favored to win by 14 points over New Orleans. I think the Los Angeles Rams will win the game, but I do not think it's going to be by 14 points. I think it'll be by 8 points. So that's my margin, and I'm going to go over the 45. You have Kansas City versus Buffalo. And they have Kansas City winning that game by 2 points. I agree with Kansas City winning the game, but I think it's going to come down to whoever has the ball at the very end of the game. And so I'm going to go Kansas City wins the game by 1, and I'm going to go under the 52. Next, you have Seattle versus Washington. The pros favor Seattle. I favor Seattle, and I'm going to go over the 47. You also have Arizona versus Dallas. And Dallas is favored to win by the pros. I'm going to disagree with the pros on that one. And I'm going to have Arizona wins the game by 2. And I'm going to go under the 55. Again, this week, the bye weeks for the teams not scheduled for games this week include Cleveland, the New York Jets, Philadelphia, and Tampa Bay. So does anybody have any questions or comments regarding the NFL? I know this is a short stream this week, but it's because there's not as many teams playing. Just a quick announcement, we will be doing these live streams on Tuesdays for the NFL regarding the regular season games. We will do a special live stream when it comes to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure yet how we're going to do the playoffs regarding NFL coverage. And also, to mention, I have a college football live stream that's also going to be on Tuesdays. They will be on Tuesdays every week. I'm just not sure what time yet on those days. The exception will be the week of Veterans Day week. That is on a Tuesday, and because of a prior commitment that I have on Veterans Day, we will do the live stream for college football picks and the NFL on Veterans Day week on Monday instead of on Tuesday. But everything else will be on Tuesday. Also, we will be covering some live stream events regarding athletic competition, when and where we can, and I will announce that when I can. If there's no other questions or comments, thank you for tuning into this NFL live stream for the picks for Week 9 games here on Sports Live Media. If you will, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell so you can be made aware when I'm doing these live streams regarding NFL football, when I have sports action videos, when I have sports education videos, again, when I broadcast live, or when I have breaking news in the sports world. If you wish to subscribe to the channel, it is greatly appreciated. You can do so by going to www.youtube.com, the @SportsLov, or you can go on the YouTube search tab and type in Sports Live Media as 2 words, SPORTSLOV, Media, MEDIA. I'm also on Twitter X. The handle there is @BobAmin16. That is the @ BOBAMIN 16. There's no other questions or comments. I do thank you for joining me for this broadcast today. Sports Live Media signing out. Have a wonderful day.